Game 2? Sorry, our next series. Our next series is going to be on Vermeer here as we're getting into Game 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Vermeer, we have our red Protoss player. Our red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Brood War Terran player. We have the blue Terran himself. It is Kiwian, aka TOP. There we go. Just setting everything up. Just getting everything going. As we have our initial openers, we do have Kiwian going for a CC first, before a, of course, delayed rack. So later racks here, faster CC, very greedy build here out of Kiwian. And from here, I'm curious to see if he does go for extra racks. Does he go for a second and third racks, or does he build up towards gases and work towards a factory instead? Work towards that extra racks. Okay, so it's gonna be 3 racks. It's gonna be 3 racks in timing. Once again, we saw this quite often already against other Zerg players. We saw it against 3 Point, and again, this is a build that has been very prevalent throughout the meta, throughout the scene, throughout the region. And yep, there's the 3rd rack. So 3rd racks into an academy into a stim timing. Again, this is a build that was nerfed quite heavily, but still very prevalent. Very prevalent. Now, because this is going to be in a TvP, I don't expect firebats. Basically, we're going to be working towards an academy into an early stim timing. The academy also does allow medics and firebats to be built. That's why this hits so hard and so fast. In StarCraft 2, you typically have to wait for the factory, and you have to wait for the starport, and then you have to wait for the reactor, add-on swap, then medevac production for some support for your stim. But here, it all comes in one package. It all comes in the academy. That's why this is even stronger in Brood War than it is in StarCraft 2. And because of that, players have been getting a little bit, it's been quite difficult to defend against it, to survive against it. Now, because this is going to be a TvP matchup, as I just mentioned, firebats, they have their place against Zerg because they roast up mineral lines and they roast up Linkbane as well. Like, they do a great job against all things Zerg this early on, except for roaches. Here, against Protoss, that's where firebats are less effective, and you just want to double down on pure marine medic. Meanwhile, oh, another Stargate. Stargate opener out of MindelVK, which I don't think is the worst thing here. I mean, we are loading into Vermeer, but no probe scouts. Oh, that is greedy. No probe scouts out of MindelVK. Likewise, Kiwian, he knows. He's fully aware of the location of his opponent, knows where he is, and he will soon knock down that front door. As we get into this, a big shout out to Protosito in the chat. Gracias. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream, hope you had a great ladder session, hope you had a great time, and welcome. Aquí estamos castellano en inglés no en español. Y aquí estamos con el StarCraft Evolution League, con StarCraft Evolution, no con SC2. StarCraft Evolution. Pero gracias. Bienvenidos. Ojalá que todo te fue bien. As here we go, as Kiwian is moving out. Have a great cast. Oh, thank you. Do appreciate it. As Kiwian does pull the trigger. Stim is done. Stim is complete. Likewise, the medics, they're here to support. And back at MindelVK, he has seen nothing, by the way. He sees nothing, he knows nothing. He does have a safety shield battery. He's got 2 stalkers, he has zealots. The oracle's on the way. And here comes a stim. Does focus on the first zealot. Boys are being pulled. And boys are being pulled. Nice kiting here from Kiwian. Does focus on the probes. At the same time, the oracle does go ham. SCVs are going down. Both players are hurting, but both stalkers fall. And now down goes every single probe here at the natural. Back at home, or the oracle goes down. Marines defend, and Marines attack. And that's gonna be all we had. That's gonna be all she wrote. I mean, the Oracle can try to engage, but there are just so many and too many Marines. And again, you can just see how powerful this timing is. And it doesn't help, it hurts I should say, that MindelVK never scouted, right? He scouted with the Oracle, he didn't scout with the Adept, it didn't open up Sentry, didn't go for Hallucination. There are options, there are ways to scout early on in TvP, especially buffed ways in recent times thanks to the NG overcharge with that Sentry. But the Oracle goes down, reinforcements have arrived. And MindelVK just doesn't really have much left. He does save his workers at least. As he does spot the probes. Again, at least they survived. And the game will continue. Okay. The game does continue from here. We do see Kiwian getting into his own biotank setup. Meanwhile, MindelVK going to be staying on 2 bases a little bit longer, going for the Robo before expanding. Si es bilingüe, sí, papi, sí. Of course. Mis padres son de Perú. Mis padres son de Perú, pero yo estoy aquí en Australia. En Australia, papi. En Australia. So setting up. So you're going to be setting up here. MindelVK, of course, going to be expanding, taking his third. A bit of a more delayed expansion, but it's on the way, and from here taking up into the bay. Now, as the dust settles, where exactly are we? How much did we lose? Now, thankfully, MindelVK did save a lot of his probes. I say that 15 probes did go down. That's a full mineral line worth of workers, but it could have been worse. Like, he saved like 9. He saved like 9 probes. So at least there's that. Likewise, he was also able to do some counter damage. He was able to catch a couple of SCVs. I mean, 4 more SCVs going down, not bad. Ooh, but it will cost him the Oracle, and that's not as worth it, as 3 Oracles have gone down. And Kiwian, he's building up towards another push, another timing. 3rd CC's on the way, Science Vessel as well. Okay, never mind, we're building up into a longer game. And Kiwian didn't kill his opponent, but did cripple the economy. Behind this, the way for MindelVK to stabilize is going to be Colossus production. Colossus are on the way. Kiwian already moving out. Again, just not giving MindelVK time to breathe. There's the stim. Does rush forward. Zealous just melt. And from here, he wants the Stalkers. He gets one already. Leads out little Marines, gets 2, takes out a 2nd Stalker, takes out a 3rd Stalker. Down to 5, 5 Stalkers left. Tank stable siege. Brutal load is going up, but MindelVK holds. Yeah, he does hold on. This was an overextension from Kiwian, as he should not lose the tank and he should kill the Colossus. Oh my god, so close. that tank was doing so much damage. That was crazy. That was insane. That was like 3 volleys on the Colossus. As the game is going to be slowing down. Okay. Slowing things down. Kiwian getting his 3rd. Likewise, MindelVK's zone is also getting saturated. As Kiwian, he's pushing towards the 3rd base to get some damage done, but this should not end the game. Like, from here, we're both building up. We have Restoration being resourced. Let's go. Yeah, 6 probes do go down. Mining is denied here at the 3rd. Does move in, and the Colossus, they can't quite engage again. There are 3 tanks waiting. He's gonna try to move in. Phoenix can lift 1. Does attempt to. And there we go, does trade at Colossus. 1 Colossus falls, but will clear this up. Ooh, will hold, will survive. At the same time, 10 probe kills here at the 3rd. Ay, ay, ay. MindelVK does hold on, but the economy is lacking. You know, Kiwian making 6 ghosts at a time. Throwing down more Raxes. As EMP is finishing up. Yo, we have Lockdown as well. Let's go. Yo, I love Lockdown. So good. Also, I swear I saw the icon of Restoration being researched, but I guess it was cancelled and instead we got EMP. Looks like Restoration was a bit of a mistake, which makes sense. Like, when we saw Restoration being researched, I was thinking in my mind, like what can Restoration be used for, specifically in this matchup? I guess Restoration, I would imagine it can save and it can cleanse stunned units, right? I would imagine. I'm referring to Maelstroms. But I think that's the only case. I think that would be the only use. Yo, Solar Flare. Let's go. We're learning the Taioken in the main. Optic Flare, but you know what I mean. I like Solar Flare a little bit better, but that will be useful. There's a curious Optic Flare is an upgrade for the medic, where the medic can reduce the vision, can basically blind a unit and reduce the vision to 1. I think it's down to 1. And ideally would be targeting units like Colossus, targeting units like Tempest, like Skytoss units. Units that have high vision. And the units that kind of rely on vision as well. There's the Restoration. I was talking about what it can be used for. I think it's can only really, in this matchup, can only really be used for against Maelstrom. Oh, that's a lot of medics. Oh my god. Jesus. Does Mass Optic Flare. Okay. he blinds everything. Templar coming in. Ooh, massive storm. Yeah, storms on the army. Oh my god. Yeah, he does stand in the storms. Storms are brutal, and Kiwian, he's being shut down completely here. He stands in the storms. No more storms left. But the Colossus is enough. Soldiers, they dive in. They focus on the first Reaper. Reaper? I was trying to say Raven. The first Science Vessel even. Yeah, as the Colossus just goes to town here on the army. Marines are melting. The Ghost War went down. Again, the storms are brutal earlier. And with that, MindelVK will take the fight. At the same time, as Zealot run by, will Zealot warp into the main. 17 SCV kills, insane damage. And Kiwian's being torn apart. He's just being torn apart by MindelVK. 17 SCVs. Combat stations on fire. Main army moving in, looking for another way forward. Now switch forward. Oh my god. Oh god, the SCVs, get out of here. They get lasered. They get roasted. 34 SCVs. He was heavily oversaturated. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. 35 SCV kills. That Colossus. They just rained down hellfire. Oh god. Get out of here, Pappy. Get out of here. And MindelVK's done it. At this point, he has done it. Zealot keep warping into the main. The Prism is still there. The tank just got some free shots off. But we're going for the SCVs. We're going for the mineral line. And oh my god, every SCV is going to fall. Not like this. That one tank is going ham, by the way. Takes down all the Colossus. This one tank. The last GG gets called. And MindelVK will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. With that, does take the first game. And we'll see if he can claim the series. A big win here for Mindel. I mean, coming into this, I favor Kiwian. I was favoring Kiwian coming into this, but alas, MindelVK does claim a lead. And again, it was still a very intense back and forth. I will say that Kiwian's initial stim timing was very successful. Remember, he killed 15 probes. He killed 15 workers at the start of the game. But when it came to the follow-up, we saw that MindelVK was able to hold, able to defend, able to secure eventually his third. Like, it was still a very shaky mid-game. Still very shaky, very back and forth. But GG. GG well played. MindelVK does take a lead, and we are now jumping into game 2. Game 2 is going to be on Sylphid. Let's go. Sentinel? Science vessel is what it's called. Yes, it's what we mentioned. It is a science vessel. If you recall, my brain went to Raven, so I almost called it a Raven. And out came out Reaper instead. I was like, ah, yes, science vessel. I think the one unit that I say that the most with is the shuttle. Like, I don't know if you noticed earlier today when we were covering some more matches, I'm very much so used to saying like a prism into the main or a prism warp in, when I should be saying shuttle. But you know what I mean. As we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Sylphid, we have the red Protoss player. We have the StarCraft 2 Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran, representing himself. Currently teamless. It is a Kiwian, aka TOP. Go. And again, welcome on to Sylphid. Sylphid is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in bottom right, bottom left, or top side as well. So 3 possible spawn locations. And again, winding it back, like, I want to say that the initial 3x sim timing was successful for Kiwian. I mean, it was enough to kill his opponent, was enough to cripple them. Then we head towards the mid game. Again, MindelVK was able to be active himself. And with that, Kiwian moving in for the scout. Go. Main difference is science vessel can heal mech units. I would say there are many more differences than that, especially when it comes to certain matchups like Irradiate. Oh, we're going for the proxy, but Irradiate is a big difference. The science vessel also EMPs, bear that in mind. The Raven does not, so EMPs on the vessel instead of on the ghost. Likewise, they have defense matrix. Defense matrix also can be a big part when it comes to these major engagements. Like, they are very, very different spellcasters. Like, there are certain units that have their equivalents in a way, like they have their own comparable units as opposed to SE2 with Brutal. Like, they have their own counterpart. That's what I'm looking for. They have their own counterpart. But what I appreciate about this mod is that, like, both races are very different. They handle very differently as well. There's a reason why a lot of StarCraft 2 Terran players, like the Kesper Terrans, they spoke about how they wish that they didn't actually pick Terran. I think there's like more similarities between, if I recall correctly, like Brutal Protoss and StarCraft 2 Terran instead, or vice versa, or Brutal Terran and StarCraft 2 Protoss. I'd say the inverse, actually. Here we go. As we initially have our, we have our armory behind this. Okay, going into mech. Yeah, MindelVK, Kiwian going to be opening up double factory into massive vulture. We have spider mines and ion thrusters going to be on the horizon. Likewise, Oracle into the main. Goliath production has begun. Despite that, SCVs are going to be going down. So far, the proxy Stargate paying off. We're getting 3 SCVs killed so far, getting up to 4, getting up to 5. As a reminder, the armory is a prerequisite to actually make any Goliaths. So it did require that armory, and is now finishing up. Goliaths, they have arrived. They shut down the first Oracle. Oracle goes down. Think they share as being detectors? Yes, they share being detectors and they share being spellcasters. As we do have our second Oracle moving in. I mean, so far the Oracles, they've done well for themselves. They've killed 10 SCVs amongst the 2 of them. And they've denied mining time. 1 Oracle did go down, but the other can still threaten the bases. And with that, Kiwian, he's stuck at home. Now, what's important here is that Kiwian was forced to make these Goliaths. Ideally, he didn't want to make them. He would have wanted to be making vultures right now. Vultures, spider mines would be done, getting into ion thrusters as well. Like, Kiwian would want to be active, but now he's stuck at home. He's contained. Ooh, as MindelVK does overextend. One more volley. Oh my god. Barely escapes. Barely does pull away. But again, so far still doing a successful job containing the Terran. And as a result, MindelVK is able to build up back at home as well. Checking his vision, he saw all the factories, of course, so he is fully aware of mech coming his way. Immortal production has begun, and we want to be working towards charge. Like, again, a very gateway heavy composition is what you want against mech. Ideally, you want to be getting into a cheaper army, not something that's more expensive. As you expect your opponent to be more efficient. See, Vulture is hunted down. So far, MindelVK looking solid. Like, he's looking good. I also just realized it's a battle of the casters. Like, MindelVK is doing a lot of streaming and casting as well. Likewise, so is Kiwian. As the Vulture is hunted down. Ion Thruster is finally on the way. By now, it would have been long finished here if he was able to actually get into the Vulture production. So again, Kiwian has been delayed. Now going for a third CC, extra factories. Getting into Vulture tank. But MindelVK has just had such a comfortable start here. Saturating his third. And again, from here, we can see Kiwian just forces a more defensive approach. Like, he's just turtling up, throwing down a minefield here. We have a line of tanks, we have bunkers. Is being somewhat active, now getting across the map. Picking off 3 workers. 3 pros going down, charge is complete. Now working towards Archons and Storm. And again, we are going to slow things down. When it comes to MindelVK's army composition that he's building up towards, he should not be pushing into the minefield. Ideally, he wants to wait for Kiwian to break out and take a third base and then attack him at the third, or to wait for Kiwian to break out and push across the map. But you don't want to give Kiwian what he wants. And right now, what he wants is to fight with all of this. Like the minefield, the bunker, the choke point, the Sim City, and a wall of 5 tanks. Like, this is where Kiwian wants to fight, and MindelVK should not give him what he wants. Should just be calming down, backing off. And there we go, macroing up into what? Into Sky Toss. The correct thing to do. You notice your opponent's being hyper defensive. It's like, okay, if you want to just turtle up and be defensive, like, you can do that. I'll just be greedy and just tech up. The one thing I would want from this is to now get a 4th. Just get another expansion. Third CC is spotted. Now would be the time to expand. MindelVK slipping into the main. MindelVK supply block. Now is not the time. He's insanely supply blocked. Oh, throwing down 4 pylons. He should have had a warp in here. Ay, ay, ay. That's unfortunate. Yeah, now is not the time. Scan reveals Tempests are on the way. MindelVK now aware. I'm sorry, Kiwian now aware. Yeah, there's a scan to confirm. Scan does confirm. As Kiwian does run into the army. Once again, you see Kiwian, he's set up here with a minefield. Once again, MindelVK does not want to move into this. Not like this. And now that Kiwian is aware of what's happening, we have Mass Goliath. Again, we're making 5 Goliaths at a time. We have the Goliath upgrade on the way as well. This target is being shut down. MindelVK once again getting supply blocked. So let's rotate. Did that scan catch the proxy? Yes. If you recall, the scan saw these Tempest as it was being built. That's why we brought up that Kiwian was now aware of the Tempest production, which is why he did begin making Goliaths. And then he confirmed with the second scan into the main. So yes, did spot it. Likewise, MindelVK catching out the Vultures. Does catch him out. Again, an efficient trade here from MindelVK, trading out Zealots for Vultures. Behind this, that's a lot of Goliaths. That's a lot of tanks. Kiwian now being active. Tempest so far 4. So far 4 Tempests. It's an okay count. Ideally, we do want more than that. As one Tempest does go down. Nice catch. Nice catch from Kiwian. Now what's important is that MindelVK is still hyper-fixated on the ground army. Like, he is getting into Sky Toss, that's true, but he's not going pure Sky Toss. He's not going into, like, quadruple Stargate into mass Void Ray, Carrier Tempest. Scan poking in. Getting a couple of shots off, pulling away. Is the correct thing to do with these Tempest. Make use of their range. Likewise, Glass, they do start a step forward. Prism here towards the main. Behind this is no storm. The tanks are sieging. Oh my god. Yeah, massive tank shots going off. MindelVK has to back away. Meanwhile, more Zealot weapons across the map. We have Zealots towards the naturals, Zealots into the main. SCVs are going down. Okay. Okay. 17 so far. More importantly, drags the entire army back home. And this allows MindelVK to get some breathing room. To get some breathing room to establish a 4th expansion, to get a 5th base, to work towards +3. So good. Ooh, does overextend, bleeds out of Tempest. Yeah, again, right now there's no reason to push in. Like, MindelVK does not have to push into this. As is up against a terrifying army. That's gonna be 12 Goliaths, 13 tanks, and 27 Vultures. It's a lot of Vultures. Let's move out. As they catch out one of the Tempests. One, soon to be 2 Tempests going down. Brutal losses here from MindelVK. And Kiwian, he may have just done it. Now Mindel's going for the base trade. He knows he can no longer deal with this kind of army. It's just too robust. But this is a late base trade from MindelVK. The base trade is delayed. There are some units to slow this down. Oh god. Okay, some mineral lines. Again, Kiwian, he needs to go for the main. He needs to go for the throat. But no, he actually turns back around. Ooh. And we'll see what MindelVK can get done. See what he can achieve. Slow zone doesn't quite connect. Now MindelVK force the guy back. Force the guy away. You can see MindelVK does permanent supply. Oh, sorry, does permanent supply. Doesn't really have much left to work with. Does try to trade against Goliath. Another Tempest goes down. Down to 2 Tempest. And again, Kiwian is not stopping. Rotates around. He doesn't quite break the natural of the main. Just going for these fringe bases instead. Playing it safe. True, no anti-air. The Goliaths, they know where they need to be. Goliaths are raising over. Zelsa busts into a mineral line. More CV's going to be going down. Okay. MindelVK gets some damage. As Goliaths have arrived, they're waddling in. And sure, as Kiwian, he will lose a mineral line. He is now down in workers, but he still has a terrifying army. Oh, turns around. Tempest have to get away. Meanwhile, more SCVs are falling. Okay. 21 SCV kills. Kiwian, he's back in this. Oh, he will lose another Tempest. But he takes down all these Goliaths. And this should not have happened. Catching out another Goliath. Tempest, they have to kite. Let's kite away. Taking a lot of hits. There's still a Zealot across the map, by the way. Still that one hero Zealot. He's crazy. He's got 12 kills. The one Zealot. Speaking of more Zealots arriving, forcing back Kiwian. Kiwian, he's looking good. He was looking strong. Like, he had a robust economy, a robust army. He was maxed out. Now, suddenly, Kiwian losing 32 SCVs. Still losing more. Likewise, Tempest poke in towards the top side as well. Killing more SCVs, denying more mining time. From here, the vultures are being cleaned up. At the same time, Tempest have to be wary and have the guy back. Does pull away. So far, decent kiting. Likewise, he will defend the mineral line. Keep it stuck up. And at this point, the longer it goes on, the worse it is for Kiwian. Like, he's on a low base count, low worker count as well. Kiwian is still being active. Still hoping to catch out units like these. So as they pass by each other, Kiwian are fully aware. As the main armor is revealed. Ooh, brutal swine, just brutal Widowmine shots. Widowmine, Spider-Mines even. Spider-Man's going up. CC goes down. Meanwhile, Goliaths are coming from behind. Nice lockdown. Gets one, gets two. It locks down 2 of those Tempests. There's the recall back home. It does recall back now without losing 2 Tempest. And this is going to be how Kiwian can win these fights. He's got 6 ghosts. Potential 6 EMPs, or sorry, I should say potential 6 lockdowns. A lockdown is a stun. It does, again, lock down the army. It's almost like the equivalent of Interference Matrix with the Raven. So almost like an Interference Matrix. Except it does last a lot longer. I'll say force fading fire. Likewise, nice knockdown here, catching out one of the immortals. Likewise, looking down the sky toss as well. Getting a carrier, getting a tempest. Kiwian, he can take this fight. It's still so close. Where the reinforcements? Where are the zealots? We need a wave of zealots here. And now just kiting back. Ghost out of energy. MindelVK's got 13 minerals in the back. We need the. Where are the zealots? Where are they? There you go, warping in A zealots behind the army. As MindelVK still just playing it slow. Again, he's got more bases, more income, more saturation. Just play it slow. From here, I mean, this can still go either way, to be honest. Kiwian down to essentially one mining base. MindelVK essentially doing the same thing. Okay, one and a half bases. As Elrond does hit the middle line once again. This time getting on top of the vultures as well. Okay, not bad. Kiwian does catch out a couple of those immortals. And we just see Kiwian suddenly taking supply lead. Does move out. As he moves out, once again, Tempest they move into harass. Ideally, they want to buy some time and just force the opposing Terran to just race back home. Kiwian does move in, does go for the middle line. There's no saving these probes. Probes are going down. Recalls on cooldown. And should barely get the CC in time. For now, does pull away. Let's pull away. We still have those vultures set up. Does have them set. Storm is on the way. Okay, that can swing things in favor of our Zerg. Our Protoss. Likewise, once again, just looking down at some of this Tempest. Catching out two. Again, lockdown lasts so long. it puts Indifference Matrix to shame. It's like twice the length of Indifference Matrix. It's crazy. From here, was able to hold on. From here, shuts down the expansion. Does rotate at the same time. The base is denied. Inside of MindelVK. And here we go. Kiwian does start to step in. Cleans up all the Tempests. We're down to how many Tempests? Down to two. Two Tempests left. Barely any. But again, a lot of this will come down to the ground army. To those Zealots. Kiwian is up to 30 Goliaths. That's a lot of Goliaths. 30 Goliaths moving in. Catching out all the transferring workers. Every probe is going to go down. Kiwian, he's about to max out. And again, there was definitely some strong moments here from MindelVK, but melee moments. Rotating over. Sorry, just taking it in. As MindelVK just can't engage at this point. He just cannot engage. Like, we have a solid tank line here, solid life line as well. So I do apologize. I just haven't been getting much rest. So, holding on. I might get some caffeine after this series though. Before the semis. As MindelVK again, he's all in. He's got half the supply to work with. And again, there was definitely a moment where he was even ahead, but not anymore. Yeah, mass lockdown on those immortals. Does get a full surround. GG gets called, and Kiwian ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. We're going all the way to game 3, and again, a very intense back and forth. Again, there was some really strong moments for MindelVK where he was able to catch up the army, able to cripple the economy, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to maintain himself. Like, his own mineral lines, his own bases were also under fire, and with that, was unable to maintain. And with that, GG. Oh my god, what were the vetoes? Game 3, by the way. We are loading into one of our favorite maps in the map pool. We are loading into Neo Isles of Siren. Up next, we are loading into an island map. Sure, let's go. I don't know what to expect. Let's go. I mean, I feel like it depends on who's going to be Brood or who's going to be SE2. Is going to be a big factor. There we go. We have our answer. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh. Bottom left-hand corner of Neo Isles of Siren, we have the red Protoss player. We have the red Protoss being forced into a tied series, being forced into the ace match. It is MindelVK. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran. It is Kiwian, aka TvP. And welcome one and all to Neo Isles of Siren. If you haven't watched StarCraft Evolution before, then you might be familiar. This is a portrait Broodor map, and this is a proper island map. What do you have? You have your own natural base. You have a natural base here. You have your third base over towards the left-hand side, and you have a fourth base on your island. You have 4 bases here set up on your main island. Meanwhile, we have this river. We have this river that does cut through, that does cut across, and does cut the map into 4 quadrants. Into, again, top right, top left, and bottom right. 4 possible spawn locations, 4 different islands, all cut off with these very thin rivers. Now, there is a 5th island. There's a 5th island here in the center. There's an island in the dead center of the map, which does come into play very often, especially in the late game. So you can take these gases, can take these minerals. This will and can be a big factor as the game goes into a longer game state. But for the most part, welcome to an island map. Yeah, let's go. Now again, there are really cool, unique features to this map. One, because these dividers are so thin, it means that you can support the army with, you support your SkyToss with the ground army as well, with tank lines, with center towers, with turrets. Like, they can be impactful and influential. Speaking of, it is very, very common here to rush into SkyToss, as you can imagine, like Stargate opener into SkyToss. Now, there are certain races that have more mobility. I would say that SE2 Protoss has a big advantage on this map. The reason for that is because of the warp-in mechanic. So you can proxy, or you could not. You can even just open up Rooster. You can open up in a very different way to get across the map. Sorry, my mind just blanked out. Tired. Warp Prism, that's what it's going for. With StarCraft 2 Protoss, you can open up, not Stargate, you can open up with a Warp Prism, you can get across the map, you can warp in, you can reinforce, you can proxy, of course. There are other ways to be active. Likewise, Nidus. You can go for Nidus play, you can go for Dropper Lords as well, you can go for SE2 Terran, can go for mass Doom Drops, right, with a 2-on-1, with drop play instead. So there are other ways to kind of approach this, but what I will say out of our Broodor Protoss player is SkyToss is usually the go-to. SkyToss is usually the go-to. So, Nexus into Nexus, into Gate Cyber, into a Stargate. Meanwhile, Kiwian, what are we going for? 1-1-1 with a proxy starport close to the edge. We're rushing into the medevac, we're rushing into drop play. Very aggressive style here by Kiwian. Very aggressive. But again, as the StarCraft 2 Terran, you can be more aggressive like this. You can be more active and more assertive. Meanwhile, Stargate across the map. Scan does confirm the Stargate and the Robo. Here comes the drop already. Again, this was a 1-1-1 before the natural base, before the CC. We might see BCs. Again, StarCraft 2 Terran can be more active earlier. Like, again, we're just going for a mass drop play, and this can straight up kill MindelVK. What is the army? That's a true question. There is no army, as this might just end the game. 7 probes go down, we're stimming in, we're rushing forward, there is no sim, there's 1 Dragoon to defend, and this is crippling damage. This is just crippling damage here. Probes are going down, and there's just 1 Dragoon to hold on. 12 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. And again, as you mentioned, specifically on island maps, StarCraft 2 Terran can be much more aggressive much earlier on, and the greed is being punished. The greed is being punished here from MindelVK. He's having a very hard time keeping up. 15 probe kills, and remember, we have another drop coming. Like, Kiwian's not done. Nowhere close. He's not done, Pappy. He's not done. As the Medevac does fall. Widowmine does as well. At the same time, drop here on the right hand side, killing 2 more probes. Head towards the main. Headed out of said main. Yeah, more drop play. The drops they just continue. we just continue, just 10 drops across the map. Now behind this, even though MindelVK, he's lost how many probes? He lost 17. Like, this is insane damage. 17 probes for 1 Marine, 1 Medevac, and 1 Widowmine. At the same time, MindelVK's probe count is still looking decent, but God, only because he's been spending his money on those workers. Second Stargate's on the way. Mass Corsair is on the way. MindelVK, he's getting there. Okay. These drops, they got a lot of damage done, that is true, but because MindelVK was being so greedy, like, the worker count is still in favor of the Protoss. It's crazy. As we are now consolidating the army, dropping in towards that natural. Once again, punishing Melga. No, does pull the boys in. He gets punished for it. 8 probes go down. 8 workers do fall. Losing up to 12. Score says they can't quite engage. Dragoon is helping. Sorry, Tank is helping when possible. Zoning back the Dragoons. Ooh, got brutal shots going up. Nexus does catch fire. And, I mean, MindelVK is slowly trying to recover here on 2 bases, slowly working towards a carrier, towards a semblance of Skytoss. The base goes down. Expansion does fall. See enchant. Never mind, this will be endless harass. Yes, as we mentioned, like, this is common in the sense that StarCraft 2, because StarCraft 2 Terrans can be so active. If you ever see a StarCraft 2 Terran player on an island map, it is very common to just go for mass drop play. Just go for mass drops and mass aggression. To abuse the greed of said opponents. Is moving in. Carrier's revealed. Does unload. Yeah, it does come into the drop. This, I believe, will cost him this army. Yeah, every Medevac will fall, the tanks as well, but takes down 18. Oh, it's worth it. 18 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. Lost the double drop, but that was worth it here for Kiwian. There we go, double scan. Dusty, no third expansion. Okay. So from here we have carrier upgrades on the way, increasing their capacity. From here we're just settling and we're calming down. Kiwian on a full 3-base economy. Behind this going for another starport. From here can go into Mass Viking to help deal with these carriers, but the game is slowing down. And Kiwian is ahead. Kiwian's on 3 bases, MindelVK is stuck on 2, just now getting his 3rd up and running, and even getting a 4th. As Thors are on the way. Thors, Vikings. Again, the reactors are on the starports, so we're going into... Actually, both reactors are on both starports. So going into Mass Viking. Supporting with Marines, with Thors. MindelVK still needs more time to recover, to saturate all these bases. Does still need more time. And is somewhat being given that time. We've already seen this when it comes to the game on Maganatha, when we saw... Not quite MindelVK, but Rebellion. Rebellion did try to rush into Skytoss. There wasn't much really to support the army, and we can see it here as well. There's no Storm, for example, like there's no ground support. Now, Corsairs can be that support, definitely, especially with Disruption Web. Disruption Web. We'll see. As Kiwian's moving out this drop. Drop is poised to go in. Right now we have 5 carriers. Alright, guys, Kiwian, he will expand towards top left. So we are still just building up. We are still just soon to max. We do have 2 more starports on the way from the side of Kiwian. This time we do have a tech lab on the starports, on both actually. Okay, so we have tech labs on them, which means this can lead into a fusion core and can lead into BCs. But we're still waiting for that tech of choice. Still waiting. The other scary thing here, as MindelVK has been licking his wounds, is that Kiwian does expand onto another island. That is something that MindelVK has yet to accomplish himself. Just to branch out and take another island. Building out more carriers. MindelVK does rotate. Likewise, geez, how many Vikings do we have? So far, 18. 18 soon to be 25. So 25 Vikings. That's a lot of Vikings. Now, Corsairs, they're not just bringing uses when it comes to destruction webs, but they also shut down Vikings. Yeah, Vikings do clump, and Corsairs, they will win this fight. We need some ground support. Ooh, as we had 23 Vikings, now down to 10. Jesus. Oh god. Again, you don't want to fight the Corsairs on your own. Not if you're a Viking. As MindelVK does take down the northern base. Meanwhile, drop into the main. Going for the tech. Snipes the Citadel. Likewise goes to the Stargate. Job does move in. This is only a portion of the army, so this is going to be cleaned up. Yeah, MindelVK will completely shut this down. Takes down the Thors, takes down all the Vikings. At the same time, dropping the main is more successful, that is true. But I worry about the counterattack, because eventually MindelVK will clean all of this up. As Marines, they do melt. And again, it is a one-way trip. As I believe he did not kill the Fleet Beacon. Fleet Beacon is still up and running. Stargates as well. Does take down some gateways, true. Mendel is still maxing out. Rotating over. Likewise, Kiwian going into Raven production. Endurance Matrix is done, so we can disable. So now we're still taking it slow. Again, after an intense early game, we just slow the game down. Build back up. MindelVK close to maxing out with 4 more carriers. Hey, Mindel, he does expand, does break out. As both players are expanding on the same island. Let's go. Again, so far we're just taking it slow, just building up, maxing out. When it comes to the next big engagement here, I feel like a lot of this will come down to, one, not just the Ravens and their ability to disable. I do worry here for Kiwian. So we have seen Mass Corsair completely shut down a Sky Army like this, like completely shut down all these Vikings. Like it's happened before. I can see it already here as well. How many Corsairs do we have? 12 Corsairs. That is more than enough. I would say maybe even too many. Like at this point we have 14 Corsairs. It's worth, having less Corsairs and more of another unit here, like, some supportive splash damage on the ground, or even just more carriers, if that's the way that we just wanted to commit into. Let's blow away. Likewise, more side defense on the base. Kiwian doing something similar. He goes moving in. He's got how many? He's got 15 carriers. That's a lot of carriers. He gets spotted. CC goes down almost instantly. Marine switching forward. Corsairs hit his zone. They take down the Medivacs. As Corsair should, does have to calm down. Pulls back. Does pull away. Vikings, they do dive in. They get a couple of disables off, but only a couple. Where are the Corsairs? The Corsairs, they're going to be moving in. Now pushing forward. Yeah, carriers, they take over the low ground. So 8 Corsairs left. And Kiwian, he just cannot engage to this many carriers. Another base going down, and from here we can just go straight for the main. MindelVK can just go straight for the base trade. There are no bases, there's no mining. Kiwian's been caught out of position, dropping across the map. The base trade is the best chance for Kiwian, but even then, it's looking bleak. As all the starports are going to be targeted down. Every single starport. Likewise going for the production. And we might just go for full elimination at this point. Like, the problem is that Kiwian knows he can never fight. He can just never fight head on. He never quite teched up into anything else. I was gonna say into other spellcasters, but my mind did blank out. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Marines, oh my god, they just melt, and GG gets called. MindelVK will snowball out of control. He will deny Kiwian, and Mindel will advance on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG will play it again. You saw that the Vikings just could not engage. They just could not engage. The Corsairs did bully back those Vikings, and likewise bases were falling left and right. Early on, I want to commend Kiwian. Early on, if you remember, he was killing mineral line after mineral line after mineral line. He had a very successful drop play early on, but at a certain point, he did make the decision to play for the late game. And when that decision was made, the aggression stopped. The aggression stopped. There was no more drop play. There was no more just aggression in general. So with that, the drop play stopped. We saw that MindelVK was able to just stabilize, in 4 bases to get a 6th base and build up themselves. And with that, GG. GG well played. From the side of Kiwian, I would suggest either having to continue with the aggression and continue just going for non-stop drop play, or to try to tech up a little bit faster into that Viking setup. If you remember, it was a little bit of a more slower, kind of more lax setup there. We're still investing into tanks, into widow mines, into binary compositions. With that, GG. GG well played. MindelVK, he will take the series, and with that, we now have our semifinals ready for us. Let's go. Exclamation mark, or there's no bracket command, I should say, but we can switch our teams over and catch up on said brackets. And there we have the updates. We have Björn. Björn took down Rebellion 2-0. 3 points took down Bratok 2-0. We have Björn versus 3 points in the upper semifinals. Likewise, we have Shin. Shin took down the STC, and MindelVK took down Kiwian. We have Shin versus MindelVK in the semifinals as well. These are going to be our 2 semifinals matches. As a reminder, these are going to be best of 5s, not best of 3s, so we're going to double down a little bit more, a little bit harder here. There's going to be more matches, more games coming into the semis. Let's go. Let us go. Does SC Terran have an answer to Mass Brood War Carrier? I think what's important here, there's a couple of things. Because it's an island map, trying to punish and trying to be aggressive, you're limited to only drop play, right? You're limited to your drops, so that does make it more difficult to rally across the map to keep the pressure up, as you would on a more standard map, on any other map, really, outside of an island map. So that was something that was, again, working against our Terran player, but I do think that there could have been a stronger switch into something like Vikings. It is a bit of a slower response and slower setup there. I think the problem with going Mass Viking, of course, though, is as we saw, Corsair shut that down. That wasn't Mass Carrier, that was Carrier Corsair, and Corsair are a really strong supportive unit to deny things like Vikings. I do think that we have seen success with players committing a little bit harder to Raven, to going into additional Ravens. Ravens for the disables can be a big part of this. But yeah, it's hard to say. I myself, I just haven't seen enough of this to kind of like fully settle in. But yeah, it does look rough, specifically on an island map, specifically. Just because it's harder to punish, right? Or it's harder to keep up that aggressive momentum when you're limited by drops. Yeah. Corsair, yeah. Because those Corsairs, they shut down the Vikings. Man. It's brutal. With that, GG, well played. With that, we're going to be going on a break. We're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will have our next series. Up next is going to be Beyond vs 3 Point, followed by Shin and MindelVK, followed by the grand finals as well. But yes, I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to get some water, and likewise, maybe get a little bit of coffee as well, before we get ready for said finals. See you soon. Sorry, it said semis. See you soon. See you soon after the break.